My name's Barry Reynolds and I'm a carpaholic.
Yeah, boss.
Doesn't take 5 top tips I could give the angler just starting out chasing carp. Number one would be not to start, because once you start you can't stop, you can't get enough. Something about the aspect of chasing and sight fishing to big fish in skinny water that's hard to beat. But it does present its own challenges. Carp aren't a big dumb fish like a lot of people think and a lot of people perceive. They're actually one of the more intelligent fish you can approach, and as such it's going to take your best as an angler to coax them into eating a fly and then landing them on lighter tackle. Fly selection is crucial. You need to understand the body of water you're fishing, just like if you're fishing for bass or trout or anything else, and understand what's available as a forage source for these fish. If I was going to tell you to select a fly to start with, it would have to be a small crayfish imitation, because it kind of can cover the gauntlet and not just cover crayfish, but they could take it for a small dragonfly or damselfly nymph as well. So it kind of, any fly that you can pick out and use that covers multiple food items, prey items for the carp, are going to be far more productive than a single pattern that imitates one in particular. So the biggest thing by far that's going to make you a good carp angler and more productive is going to be your presentation. These fish will teach you more about presentation and how they want the fly presented to them more than any other fish I've chased in freshwater. They're that selective and they're that picky about where you put the fly. In general, when I'm fishing the skinny water fish and they're tailing and I can see their tail, I like to cast beyond the fish, strip the fly back in front of it, and then let it fall. Don't just plop the fly down on top of their head. You're going to spook them 99% of the time. Stick cast past them, strip it really fast, and then let it fall right down in front of them, and then just inch that fly along, just crawl it along, and you'll see the fish react. And sometimes it's favorable, and other times they're going to tell you they just don't like it. So those are by far the best tips I can give you. The other thing is just to fish early and fish late. Middle of the day right now on the lakes and ponds is not very productive. These fish are up shallow early, and then they'll come back up shallow again later in the afternoon during low light periods. For my carp fishing, I like to use a 6-weight rod. I wouldn't fish much lighter than a 6, but a 6, a 7, or an 8-weight rod, depending on the size of the fish that you have available. But I'm using a 9-foot 6-weight, and it's more than adequate. I've taken fish up over 30 pounds on this fly rod and landed them no problem. As far as my fly line goes, right now I'm rigged up with the SA Shark Skin line. It's a trout presentation, so very light presentation I can get with this line. Not real heavy up in the front end, so it allows for real delicate presentations, but it still will let me cast 20 or 30 feet and present the fly accurately. As far as my leader setup goes, I'm using fluorocarbon 3X, so about 6.5 pound test. It's more than tough enough to handle these big fish if you don't sit there and try and clamp down on them when they make their run. Once I hook them up, I like to let them run their first time, get that first run out of their system, and then I start working the rod on them. Don't sit here and try and fight the fish with a high rod angle. Instead, drop the rod angle to the side and down low. They don't like that. If you can pull their nose down, they'll turn and come to you every time, because no fish likes their nose being driven into the bottom. And you can do that real easily by just taking and applying side pressure with the rod. But that's my basic setup. I'm using a Ross F1 reel, matched for the rod, 6-weight, and good drag system. One thing that's important that doesn't come into play a lot of times with other freshwater fish is you better make sure you got plenty of back.
You done?
100, 150 yards minimum. And I've seen fish that will flat clean your clock and take you 200 yards in your backing. So, like I said, bare minimum 100 to 150 yards of 30-pound back-on backing.
Very good.
Like a carp shower for sand.